Remember how TikTok wasn't going to shut down forever and then it took less than a day? That's the same thing that's happening right now. They're trying to wear you down. One day, Trump's administration freezes federal funding, including Medicaid, and the next, a judge steps in and temporarily blocks it. Now the White House is backpedaling, saying that Medicaid was never part of the freeze to begin with. This isn't just confusion, it's a strategy. They throw out conflicting messages so fast that people get overwhelmed, exhausted, and stop paying attention. And that's exactly what they want. So this is how they test the waters. First, they float an idea and see how much pushback that they'll get. And if people don't react enough, they move forward with it. If the backlash is too strong, they backpedal it and try again later in a different way. It's not just about Medicaid or federal funding. This is a pattern we've seen before. The more chaotic things seem, the easier it is for them to slip through policies that would otherwise face massive resistance. This is not new. This tactic has been used over and over again to confuse people, exhaust them, and get them to stop paying attention. Let's look at a couple of examples of how this has just played out before. First, you got the repeal of net neutrality. In 2017, at the time, people were fired up. There were protests, petitions, internet-wide outage. But what did the Trump administration do? They flooded the news cycle with so much other chaos. They're firing officials, the controversial tweets, as we know he does, new scandals every single week. And by the time the FCC actually killed net neutrality, the outrage had died down and people were too drained to fight it again. The decision was locked in. Here's another example. The way Hollywood handled the writers' strike in 2007. The Writers Guild of America was fighting for better pay and protection, but when the studio dragged it out for months, throwing out so many conflicting statements and counteroffers that the public interest just started to fade. And meanwhile, they ramped up reality TV to distract people from the fact that scripted television was disappearing. And by the time that the strike ended, many writers lost their leverage and the industry never fully recovered. And what about this one? The lead up to the Iraqi war in 2003. The Bush administration kept shifting its justifications. First it was about weapons of mass destruction, and then it was about ties to terrorism, and then it became about spreading democracy. They flooded the public with so many different explanations that by the time people realized that the WMDs were not there, it was too late. The war had already started. And the outrage was dulled by the exhaustion. This is how it works. They overwhelm you with information, keep you second guessing what's real, and exhaust you into submission. That's why it's important to stay focused. Recognize the pattern. Don't let them wear you down, and keep your eyes on what's really happening. Take a few breaks when you need to. Don't check out completely, because the second you stop paying attention, that's when they win.